I needed a six-pack or this book wouldn't be successful. That's what I kept telling myself anyway. Here I was, 3 months into the regimented diet and exercise plan I outlined in the Digital Nomad Manifesto, and while I felt strong, with a clear mind, my body still didn't look like the movie stars we see on film. Those movie stars only have to look like that for one scene. Unless you're watching an old shirtless fiesta like the movie 300, the hero only has his shirt off for a minute or two. I did some research and I realized that most of those bodies, the heroes, the models, and now me, earlier in this book, and I mean right now, those come from hard fasting combined with heavy working out. In this video, we're gonna look at some of the additional approaches to health that you could experiment with to get your body functioning at its maximum potential. Things that you can try if the basics in the last video didn't work for you. Not just fasting, but things like eliminating sugar, balancing your vitamins, and hydration. But before we go into some of the less well-known aspects, I wanna begin with something really fundamental. And yet, it's something that's often overlooked: a cure for brain fog. I remember that for years, I would have this sensation of being exhausted. I would have a foggy brain. I wouldn't be able to concentrate. I'd be sitting around in the prime of my life, slumping in my chair, unable to get any work done. I had a strong sense of anxiety and I just couldn't understand why it was happening. So I went to the internet and I began searching for all of these symptoms. And of course, Google can give you all the worst things under the sun. Maybe you have a brain tumor. Maybe there's some horrible cancer eating your insides. But I kept reading because it's always best to ignore the shock and awe campaign. The medical industry is trying to terrify you. Eventually, I found out what was causing the brain fogginess. And it's the same thing that can cause headaches during the day, diminished sleep, and all manner of other physical ailments and malaise. It was not drinking enough water. I wasn't properly hydrated. So I got one of those cups with the straw from Starbucks and started filling it up 4 to 5 times a day. The second I made sure I got enough water, I started feeling much better. That's just one of the simple things that you can use to change your life. You can actually see the Starbucks cup right here. And that's what this video is all about. Little tweaks can make all the difference. They won't all work for everyone. And you can't and shouldn't take on things that are gonna make life difficult for you. That's not what this series is about. This series isn't about making you become a vegan, drinking 17 glasses of water every day, living like a monk, and never doing anything that you enjoy. It's about doing things that will enhance your life. And in this respect, everything included in this video merits consideration. Let's talk about quitting alcohol. If drinking more water is heaven, then drinking alcohol is hell. I used to have so much fun with liquor, running around at business meetings in New York City, closing massive deals with corporate clients, and then partying with them afterward to celebrate. It was a great time. It's a fun, productive life if you're 22. But as soon as I turned 23, I felt different. The hangovers lasted longer, the partying wasn't as fun, and I started sleeping all day. My energy was drained. But the biggest thing that got me to quit drinking almost 10 years ago and never go back was that it takes life out of your control. The emotions that you feel that make you want to drink, the boredom, the self-hatred, the sadness even, these emotions are the exact same ones that cause you to succeed in the long term. That sadness is caused by your sad life. So instead of drinking, you're forced to fix it. The boredom is from your lack of working on anything interesting. So you fix the boredom by starting a business instead of starting a new bottle of tequila. The self-hatred is because you're a young guy wasting his potential with alcohol and drugs. So that will go away by itself. Quit alcohol today. I've stopped drinking completely and the benefits are massive. It frees you from all sorts of shackles, ridding you of a poison that's holding you down and preventing you from becoming your best self. It also plays a massive role in reducing your weight because alcohol is just empty calories that bloat you and make you feel like shit. Everyone has suffered with a hangover, which wastes whole days. And of course, alcohol encourages you to eat crap as well. You have a few drinks, you end up eating a pizza. It's all just destroying any good work you might have been doing elsewhere. Then it ruins your sleep pattern. It dehydrates you. You're investing money into something that does nothing for your life and nothing for your body whatsoever. All sorts of social problems associated with alcohol as well. And relying on alcohol in social situations can be damaging as you lose touch with your authentic self. Alcohol can also take a toll on your physical appearance. Not only will you gain weight, but you can also damage your skin, weaken your hair, and ultimately make yourself seem older and less attractive than you actually are. For instance, would you believe that I'm 65 years old? Alcohol increases your risk of developing cancer, it can negatively affect your brain structure, and it can ruin your sleep patterns. There are almost no positive phenomena associated with alcohol. That's why I decided to cut it out of my life. And I certainly recommend you doing the same or at least giving it a go. Getting a six-pack in 2 weeks. Back to the story from before. It's day 8 of my calorie restriction diet to get a six-pack for the photo shoot to this book. The photos turned out great, by the way. I'm watching my girl eat a pizza and really taking in her every bite. Why are you staring at me, she asked. I was staring at the pizza. The mind starts playing tricks at this level of hunger. You only see food, but at the same time, you see real changes quickly. Something slightly more obscure that I've already mentioned previously in this series is intermittent fasting. This simply means eating your food within a certain window every day. It has also been shown that it can play a major role in increased weight loss, and there are several prominent examples of famous people who've achieved incredible results with intermittent fasting. My diet during this fast was simple. Saturdays, I eat 1 meal a day for 400 calories. Sundays, I eat 2 meals, breakfast and dinner, and then during the week, I sustain a calorie intake of just under 1,000 calories a day. By the way, this is not doctor recommended, it's just something I did. In fact, I'll probably never do it again, but if you want the same results I got, here's the meal plan. First rule is drink as much coffee as you want. Coffee stops your hunger and fills you up, and black coffee has 0 calories. Second rule is salt doesn't have calories. If you need more flavor, add more salt. This will help you avoid oils and other sauces. Next rule is don't cheat on the diet. This isn't some BS food plan. On this level of calorie restriction, if you cheat once or go on a binge, you can cause your body to go into shock and possibly die. Again, this is not recommended for the weak. Now, here's the meal plan I used to get shredded in 2 weeks. This is the fastest, most effective, and hardest diet I've ever done. And let me show you, you might be thinking, oh, you're not super shredded. Here's what I looked like before the diet, and here's what I looked like just a couple weeks later. You can see the difference. Here's my abs in 2 weeks meal plan. Breakfast is 1 apple and a cup of coffee. Lunch is chicken salad. 250 grams of boiled or roasted chicken with very little oil, with a mixed vegetable salad consisting of cucumbers, tomatoes, and lettuce, with a lot of lemon juice, salt, and pepper. Dinner is the same as lunch. The salad is good and filling, and while you might have some cravings in the beginning, you'll push through and end up thinner than you ever have been. I watched myself break through my old college weight, my old high school weight, and become the thinnest I ever have in the course of 2 weeks, and you can too. Let's talk about intermittent fasting and OMAD. If you don't want to go that extreme but still deal with overeating and food issues like I did, you can try OMAD, which stands for 1 meal a day, or intermittent fasting. By giving yourself a window of 8 hours, for example, to consume all of your meals, you can help shift your body from a sugar burner to a fat burner. This will help with your weight loss, helping you to get better results more quickly. Now, let's talk about sugar. I love sugar. I used to go to the grocery store and buy bags full of Reese's or Butterfingers, set them up on my counter, and just eat. Enough sugar for one of those YouTube mukbang videos, but not filmed and just me alone in my house. Most people in the West consume far too much sugar, both through sugar that's added to food and by consuming too many carbohydrates. This is because carbs are effectively converted to sugar in the bloodstream. This increase in sugar intake is one of the primary reasons that there's been an obesity epidemic. And it's by far the #1 reason that people get diabetes. And you definitely don't want to develop type 2 diabetes. This isn't just a minor inconvenience in your life. There can be some really serious consequences of becoming diabetic, not the least death. One of the best ways to deal with this excess of sugar is to derive as much of your sugar as possible from fruit. This has been proven to be a healthy approach, but I would also say try to stick to whole foods where possible. Anything that's canned or processed will, by definition, tend to be less healthy, often includes added sugar, and will therefore be less beneficial to your body. That doesn't mean that you need to cut it out completely, but just think about the balance of what you're putting inside your body, because you really are what you eat. My favorite breakfast after all this resetting and fasting is a bunch of fruit with a bowl of oatmeal, made with water with just a small spoonful of raw sugar on top. Raw jaggery, but that's only available in India. It keeps you full until lunch and it tastes great. Jaggery is raw sugar. I speak as someone who adores sugar. I love cakes, candies, and sweets. When I was a kid, I used to binge eat like crazy. My favorite breakfast used to be pancakes with real maple syrup. I would honestly gorge myself on that stuff. But what you'll find out is that this ruins your sleep patterns. It makes you fat. You become addicted to it. You need sugar more and more and more, and it becomes a really damaging spiral. You can reach the point where you've got prediabetes, where your vision becomes blurry. You're literally destroying your body. Here's a chart: whole food replacements for your favorite meals. Instead of chocolate cake, you can eat a dark chocolate dipped banana. Instead of donuts, you can enjoy a bowl of mixed berries. Instead of candy bars, munch on a handful of dried fruits and nuts. Instead of ice cream, blend a frozen banana until it reaches a creamy consistency. You love brownies? Well, you can have a few squares of dark chocolate with 70% or more cocoa. What about cookies? Savor a ripe peach or another piece of juicy fruit instead. Love cheesecake? Well, you can slice up a fresh, tangy pineapple and it'll satisfy the same cravings. If you love pastries, you can reach for a handful of sweet, chewy dates. Love muffins? Well, you can enjoy a ripe pear with a sprinkle of cinnamon on top. Remember, while these suggestions are healthier, all foods can be part of a balanced diet when enjoyed in moderation. I'm not saying you can't go have muffins. You need to be careful of this. You need to make sure there's a good balance between carbohydrates, proteins, fruit, and vegetables in your diet. and you shouldn't overdose on sugar. That's all I'm saying. If you want to go out and eat candy, you can eat candy, just make sure it matches the calories and you're not going overboard. Now, let's talk about sleep pattern. I've never had problems falling asleep. My big problem was waking up too early. But it's a massive mistake to neglect proper sleep. We need to sleep in order to operate at our optimum level. During sleep, the brain's nerve cells rewire themselves. There are trillions of nerve cells in the brain, and these are critical to the way that it operates. Effectively, when you're sleeping, you're reorganizing and recharging your brain, and also removing toxic waste byproducts which have accumulated throughout the day. So how do you fix your sleep? The first step is simply to make it a priority. Create a sleeping ritual and ensure that your bedroom is a calm and peaceful environment, not one designed for entertainment. Technology should be limited and even completely removed from your sleeping space. Make sure that your bed is as comfortable as possible and that your bedroom is the most relaxing and peaceful environment in your home. It's also important to regulate the temperature, keeping it something on the cool side so that you're comfortable at all times. The bed should only be used for sleep and sex. If you need to work from bed, get a second bed just for working. But when you go to that room, that's all you're doing. Control the exposure that you have to artificial light as well. There's a built-in system for this called Night Shift on the Mac, which controls the color of your display at nighttime, and almost all phones have this built in by default. So if you do need to look at your screen before bed, you can use this app to ensure that you're doing this in a way that's conducive to getting to sleep successfully. I would also say that you should avoid eating large meals and particularly carb-heavy meals a few hours before you sleep. Try to exercise, get your body moving in the hours before you sleep, and you'll find that it'll be ready for bed when you need your sleep. You can also consider having sex just before bed. It's established that orgasms act as a sedative for the majority of people, releasing hormones and endorphins that will contribute to the sleeping process. Also, if you hear a friend complaining about having a hard time falling asleep, it usually means they aren't having sex enough, so feel free to recommend the dating videos to them. Here's the ultimate checklist for a great night's sleep. 1. Prioritize sleep. Allocate enough time for a full night's sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours. Then create a sleep-friendly environment. Your bedroom should be dark, quiet, and cool, promoting optimal sleep conditions. Then you want to limit screen time before bed. Minimize exposure to blue light by reducing screen time or using apps that filter out that blue light. Then avoid heavy meals and minimize caffeine before bed. Both can interfere with your quality of life. Then make sure you're exercising regularly. Incorporate daily physical activity into your routine, but avoid intense workouts close to bedtime. In short, treat sleep with respect, and your body will function much better as a result. Follow me for more health tips. So there are some interesting things for you to try out and experiment with. I would say that some of them are mandatory, particularly hydration, but I also want to finish this video with one important concept. You should always pay attention to what your body tells you. Listen to the cues that it gives you because everybody's body responds differently to different things. There's no universally applicable nutrition or health advice. This video simply provides some things that you can try that might work for you. But if your body or mind tells you that they're not working, then stop doing whatever you're doing. Health isn't about what's written in a textbook or what somebody says in a video. It's about what works for you and your life.